Our story today is Mickey Meets the Giant, okay? I got this story when Mr. Matt was a little boy, maybe 2 years old, and it's been one of my favorites ever since, and children like it a lot, so I'm sure you'll enjoy the story, okay? Okay, let me move my chair here. Okay, so here we go. Once upon a time, there lived a brave woodcutter named Mickey. His work took him from place to place. One day he came to a pretty town. It was called Cedar Grove. These hills are just full of sweet-smelling trees, he thought. I can sell that wood. I'll make a lot of money. But first I must make sure my axe is sharp. Oh, there's his axe. Where's his axe? Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So the woodcutter walked through the streets of the town. There were many people in the street. Everyone looked very upset. Whatever will happen to us, one woman cried. We must find someone who can beat that giant, yelled the man. Why is everyone afraid of the giant? What has he done? Asked Mickey. Let's go back there a little bit. Okay. The people told him about a night when the giant decided to have a little fun. While they lay sleeping, the giant began to whistle. When he whistled, the wind blew. He whistled through their windows. The wind blew through their homes. It blew all the sleeping people right out of their beds. Oh, look at that. Saw that right out the window. Help! Help! Oh my. I bet he thought that was funny. Mickey didn't like that story very much, and he didn't like the next one at all. One day, the giant wanted to play. He jumped rope in the fields. They had just been planted. He made footprints all over the field. Oh, look at that. Oops, see those footprints? Yep, there they are. What a mess. That night it rained. The next day, the fields were covered with foot-shaped lakes. Oh my. When the giant saw his footprints filled with water, he began to laugh. He laughed so hard that he fell down. He rolled on the ground. He laughed some more. Everything for miles around shook as he laughed. This was too much for the animals in the forest. They were so afraid that they ran for their lives. Now there are no animals in Cedar Grove, said the giant, and soon there will be no people. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. What a terrible giant, thought Mickey. Just then, a wagon came racing into town. It stopped. The driver jumped to the ground and he told Mickey his story. I was taking my family away from Cedar Grove, but a huge boulder's a giant rock, a huge boulder rolled right onto the road. It was so big, there was no way around it. I looked up to see where it came from, and there stood the giant. The giant laughed very hard when he saw I was afraid. His laugh was as loud as thunder. My horse was so scared that he turned right around. He ran as fast as he could right back here to Cedar Grove. The giant had blocked the only way out of town. Now the people of Cedar Grove were trapped. He's not a very nice guy. Dude, look at those teeth. The brave woodcutter had heard enough. "Let me face that giant," he said. "I have beaten bullies before, and I can do it again." Everybody laughed at the woodcutter. "You could not beat the giant," said a very kind policeman, "but I do think you must be a very brave young man." "Stan Doolittle is the man to do this," said the policeman. "I remember the time that Stan ran a mean old bear out of Cedar Grove." Stan stepped up to the front. "I'll show that giant who's boss." But it was not long before Sam came running home. He was dripping wet, and he was very upset. The giant had picked up poor Stan by his hair, and he had dropped Stan right into a cup of tea. So the people called a town meeting. This time they picked the tallest man in Cedar Grove to challenge the giant. But Tall Tom was not a brave man. He did not want to meet the giant. But at last off he went. Before the townspeople could count to 3, Tall Tom came running back. "I just saw the giant break the tallest tree in the forest in 2 pieces," he cried. "I did not want that to happen to me." Oops, sorry. The people in the town did not know what to do next. "That does it. I'm going to beat that giant," said Micky. "I may be small, but I'm not afraid. Before I go, I'll need 3 things. I'll need a bag, I'll need a drinking straw, and I'll need the whitest, roundest cheese in town. I have a plan." The people wondered what the woodcutter wanted with such things, but they gave him what he asked for. Then they told him how to find the giant. When the woodcutter got to the giant's cave, he looked everywhere, but he could not find the giant. So he walked deep into the dark cave. There he found bats and rats, but there was no sign of the giant. Yuck! The woodcutter decided to wait for the giant. He hopped onto a rock outside the cave, but just then the rock began to shake. "Whoa! What's going on here?" cried Micky. "Ho, ho, 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 ho," came a rumbling noise from above. The woodcutter looked up and up and up. Oh, I see," Micky said. "You must be the giant." "Well, I'm very glad to meet you," said Micky in a small voice. "You mean you're not afraid of me?" asked the giant. "Afraid of you? Why, I'm here to challenge you," said Micky. "Oh, ho, ho," thundered the giant. "Bigger men than you would try to beat me. They have failed. I'll just have to show you how strong I am." "Watch this," roared the giant. Then he wrapped his huge hand around the widest tree in the forest. He pulled it up as if it were a carrot in his garden. "And this," he said. Then he pounded his huge hand on the ground. The ground came apart. It became a deep, long canyon. "Now it's my turn," said Micky to the giant. "Watch how far I can blow this leaf." He's got a little leaf. "A leaf?" yelled the giant. "I could blow down 50 trees with one breath." And the giant took a deep breath. There lay 50 trees on the forest floor. Well, Micky is a woodcutter, right? 50 trees all cut for him already. Oh. Uh-oh, here comes the rain again. Micky now knew that his plan would work. Ah, not bad, he told the giant. Now it is my turn. Watch how far I throw this stone. Oh, that's just a pebble, said the giant. Step aside. The giant bent down to pick up a boulder. Oh, that's such a tiny rock, cried Micky. Why not throw that one over there? Micky pointed to the very boulder that was blocking the road. The giant gathered all his strength. He threw that boulder far, far away. And now the road was not blocked. Oh, my plan is working better than I had hoped, Micky thought. He reached into his bag. He pulled out the straw. Watch this, he said to the giant. I am going to drink all the water in the pond. Oh, straws and ponds are for weaklings, said the giant. I can drink the whole lake. Can you drink all those foot-shaped lakes in the planting fields? Watch me, said the giant, and with that he drank all the water in each and every lake. Now the giant was very tired, and he was so full of water he was about to burst. Oh, here's an easy one for you, said Micky. How much water can you squeeze out of a stone? The giant picked up a stone. He squeezed it as hard as he could, but no water came from the stone. What kind of a giant are you? Asked Micky. He held up the round white cheese. See this stone? Watch this. Then he squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. Water came from the cheese. The giant's eyes grew big with fear. And if you don't leave Cedar Grove at once, said Micky, why, I'll... The giant turned and ran. Micky smiled to himself. His plan had worked. He had stood up to the giant, and he had made the giant put right all of the wrong things that he had done. Quickly, he went back to town. He told the people what he had done. They cheered Micky for his courage. He became the hero of the town, and from that time on, the people of Cedar Grove lived in peace, and the giant was never heard from again. See, everybody was scared of the giant. But Micky thought, you know what? I have a brain. I can think. How can I be smarter than that giant? Did he fool him? Yes, he did. He fooled the giant and he made him fix everything there. A lot of times we have problems and we cry, I can't do it, right? Instead, if you have a problem, what do you need to do? What do you need to do if you have a problem? You stop and you think. You turn on your brain and you say, what can I do? And then you come up with a plan. But if you get all scared and you cry, will your brain work? Nope. When you have problems, ask for help, but just sit and think. Use your brain, right? I had a problem this morning. I didn't know what to do. And I sat there and I looked at the board in the classroom and I looked at it and I looked at it and I didn't know what to do. And I said, God, I need some help here. I don't know what to do. And I sat and I looked at the board and I said again, God, I need help. Please help me. And I sat and I sat and I sat and I thought and I thought and I thought, and God gave me an idea. Yep, he did, because I asked him and it was something that I had to do. And so if we need help, who do we ask? We ask God for help. We say, God, I need help. Can you help me? And then God will give you ideas because he gave you a brain to use, right? Every one of you has a good brain. So what you need to do, start to use it.